Today, we're diving into some huge news. Banking giant Citi is teaming up with crypto powerhouse Coinbase. And their goal? To completely overhaul how money moves around the world. So, let's get into what this really means for the future of finance.
It's a really weird feeling, isn't it? You can stream a movie from halfway around the planet in a split second, but sending money to a business partner can feel like you're using a carrier pigeon. It's a frustration we've all felt, and the reason for it is, well, surprisingly old.
Yep, that's right. The systems that move trillions of dollars every single day, we're talking about ACH and wire networks, are built on tech from the 80s. They're kind of like the old family station wagon. They get the job done, but they were not built for the high-speed, always-on internet world we live in today. Okay, so to really get why this new partnership is such a massive deal, we first have to unpack the problem they're trying to solve. Let's take a quick look at how traditional payments actually work, or, don't work so well. See, when you send money internationally, it doesn't just go from point A to point B. Oh no, it has to bounce between a whole chain of intermediary banks, almost like a package making a dozen stops before it gets to its final destination. And every single one of those stops adds time, adds fees, and adds another chance for something to go wrong. It's a system that was just never designed for the speed of modern life. And that brings us to the big news that's really shaking things up. We've got two huge players from what seem like totally different universes coming together with a single vision for how payments should work.
With this one announcement, traditional finance and the new digital economy officially shook hands. And this isn't some small test or a pilot program, this is a full-blown strategic alliance. They're aiming to build the financial plumbing for the next generation of global commerce.
And what a team-up this is. On one side, you've got Citi, an absolute behemoth of global banking, with a reach that is just unparalleled. And on the other side, you have Coinbase, which has spent years building the secure, highly specialized infrastructure that the digital asset world runs on. So one has the global network, and the other has the new tech to make it better. I think this quote from Citi's head of payments is just perfect. They call it a network of networks. That says it all, right? It shows that Citi isn't trying to rip everything out and start over. No, instead they're plugging this incredibly powerful new digital network right into their existing global one. It's about making both systems stronger together. So how are they actually going to pull this off? Well, the secret ingredient, the key to this entire thing, is a special kind of digital asset that acts as the perfect bridge between the old financial world and the new one. All right, first, a super quick refresher. Fiat currency is just the normal money we all use every day. Dollars, euros, yen. It's the bedrock of our traditional financial system. So a stablecoin is pretty much what it sounds like, a digital version of that fiat currency. Think of it as a digital dollar that lives on a blockchain. Its whole purpose is to hold a steady value, which makes it absolutely perfect for payments, unlike some other more volatile cryptocurrencies. And this is the really crucial piece of the puzzle. On-ramps and off-ramps are basically the bridges that let money flow smoothly from a traditional bank account into the digital world, and then back out again. Getting this part right is the key to making the whole system work for everybody. So check out how this all comes together. Instead of that clunky, slow chain of banks, the new process is incredibly simple. A client's dollars get converted into a stablecoin, that stablecoin zips across the globe in seconds, and then it gets converted right back into the local currency on the other side. All the old problems, banking hours, settlement delays, they literally just vanish. Now, a partnership like this doesn't just happen out of nowhere. It's really the result of some major shifts, not just in technology, but also, and this is critical, in regulation that have paved the way for this to finally go mainstream. For years, big institutions kind of stayed on the sidelines because, frankly, the rules around digital assets were a mess. But that all changed in July of 2025 with a landmark piece of legislation. It created clear federal rules for stablecoins, giving banks like Citi the regulatory green light they've been waiting for. And the impact was immediate. I mean, it was dramatic. Just look at this data from Artemis on payment volumes. Before the act passed back in February, stablecoin payments were humming along at about $6 billion. By August, that number had jumped to over $10 billion. That's not speculation. That's the market showing you what happens when there's clarity and real-world usefulness. And this is really just the beginning. We are not talking about some small niche market anymore.
Citi's own research team thinks the stablecoin market could explode from around $300 billion today to over $1 trillion in just the next 5 years. The scale of this shift is just staggering. And this quote from a data scientist at Artemis just nails it. The momentum is building because businesses are realizing stablecoins are simply better money for the job. They're faster, they're more efficient, and they're available 24/7. That practical usefulness is what builds trust, and that trust is what's driving all this growth. Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. But let's bring this all home. What does this big mashup of old and new finance actually mean for businesses? And really, for the whole global economy? Well, for any company that does business globally, the benefits are crystal clear. Faster settlement? That means better cash flow. Lower friction? That means lower costs. And a truly 24/7 payment system? That means you can move your money whenever you want to, not just when your bank happens to be open. And honestly, that's the most important thing to take away from all of this. Yes, the technology behind it is crypto, but the impact is universal. This is about upgrading the basic rails that the global economy runs on, clearing out the old bottlenecks, and just creating a much more efficient system for anyone and everyone who uses it. Which leaves us with one last really fascinating question. As these new, faster, better rails become the norm for big institutions, how long is it before they become the norm for all of us? It feels like we could be watching the moment money gets remade right before our eyes. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.